Recharge. 5.
And welcome everybody to another episode of Wrong Side Simulations, bringing the best content from the wrong side of the airplane, the right seat. And as always, my name is Blake. I'm a real-world flight dispatcher aiming to bring you a little more context to your flight sim viewing experience. And tonight, we let Senor El Capitano Shack Oatmeal choose the flight. So here we are sitting in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is wet and soggy tonight. We're actually, I guess it's not really nighttime, it's kind of morning time with the time that I have set. It'll be blazing sunlight in about 30 minutes, so we're going to try to get off the ground and break out of this nasty stuff. Now this is live weather, so we'll break out of this nasty stuff for a beautiful sunrise and then go land in Burbank. Last I looked a few minutes ago, Burbank was sitting about 2.5 miles, which is going to make that challenge, or that approach, quite challenging. So looking forward to this sneaky stream. The girlfriend doesn't like it whenever she wakes up and I'm not there in bed. She's gonna wake up and I'm not gonna be there in bed. So tough shit. To the chat. Goodness, we got like a whole bunch of chatter going. I'm not used to looking at the chat and being this long by the time I get to this point in the stream. Jay, what's up, dude? Thank you for coming to watch round number 2 tonight. Appreciate you as always. Shaq, I knew you were going to be here, but thanks nonetheless for coming to hang out. Enjoyed your stream. I got to glance over and see a little bit of the landing. I was trying to set all this up while you were landing. This dude distracted me. Bombasso, I guess that's how you say your name, right? Bombasso. Welcome aboard, my friend. I don't think I've ever seen your name in the chat before. At least I don't recognize the icon. So if not, welcome aboard Wrong Side Simulations. For a lot of people, it seems like they can't figure it out, but here on this channel we fly from the right seat, hence wrong side, because everybody in the flight sim world wants to be the captain. Shaq. So anyways, oh, look at Jay, just what I need. Vegas wind, ooh shit, 260 at 18, gusting 2.5. 8 statute miles, heavy rain, broken at 3800, broken 5500, overcast 7500, temperatures 12, dew point 8, and altimeter is 2967. Out in Burbank, winds are 100 at 9, Viz is still sitting at 2.5 miles, rain, broken at 500, broken at 1100, overcast 2200, and temperatures 12, dew point 9, and altimeter is 2986. Fun. So let's see, on the ILS, just kind of shooting from the hip, looking at the charts real quick before we head out there. On the ILS Zulu runway 8, ceilings or the mins are 348 feet off the ground and 1 mile visibility. So it should be alright. It's not bad at all. And if we were going to do an RMP approach, which I can't grab, one thing they need to do with this new charts UI is make the scroll bar like thicker where you can actually grab it, because I can't grab it to like scroll over my other parts of my charts. I have to make the whole window wider to see them all. If we're going to do RMP Yankee, we're looking at 341 feet, so 7 feet better on the ceilings. The RVR of 5,000 or 1 mile. And that's with 0.2 on the accuracy. If we had degraded accuracy down to 0.3, then we're looking at 424 foot ceilings with the RVR still at 5,000. And if the approach lighting system was out, it'd be 1.25 miles, so we'd still be fine. We'd have to degrade all the way to RMP 0.3 accuracy or 0.30 accuracy to have any issues. And if that did happen, we'd be looking at ceilings of 758 feet, 2.5 miles fizz. So I don't foresee that happening, although you never know. So let's get this thing going before the sun comes up, so we can get some awesome views. And we're just gonna roll into this stuff real fast. Let's see, boom, boom, boom. Probably gonna have some terrible frame rates here in Vegas. Also got FSLTL providing some static airplanes. Not necessarily any airborne traffic, but just some static planes to make the airport feel a little more alive. That's not even showing yet. Fine. Let's see. We'll go ahead and emit. AOC menu. So this airplane was recently updated, and one of the guys in my chat on my stream earlier today was saying that the new sounds are unbelievable. So I definitely want to check those out. Let's go. AC status. 3rd of November to the 30th of November. Damn, that's a short AirX cycle. Alright, so we are up to date on the nav database. We'll go over to init request. And I'm not going to fly on VATSIM. That way we can do whatever we want. So we want to depart off runway 01 right. And then we're going to land on runway 8 in Burbank. We are Spirit Wings 788. Going to fly cost index 15. Cruising altitude is going to be flight level 280. I'll tell you what, we'll bring y'all in on the sim brief so y'all can see what I'm doing. And I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this FSLTL because its frames are already a little less than what I like. Alrighty, so cruising at flight level 280, temperatures minus 35. Triple pause, we're looking at 43,200 feet. Go ahead and get our wind data uplink. That is complete flight plan, Vegas. Departure. I'm going to go off of 1 right on the Raider 2. Silver transition. Insert that. For Burbank, arrival. Let's see which one do I want. Do I want Zulu or do I want Yankee? Oh, we definitely want Zulu. We would probably go missed if we were on Yankee. So I'll tell you what, actually let's do that. Let's just, for shits and giggles, just to show you what I'm looking at. So for the ILS Zulu, minimums are 348 feet off the ground with 1 mile visibility. If we were to shoot the ILS Yankee, then we're looking at minimums of 828 feet, and the issue already with that is the ceilings are currently sitting at 500 feet. So ceilings wise, we will possibly be screwed, although visibility is controlling. The viz is right at mins, just 2.5 miles. So let's start with this one, and if we go missed, then we'll just circle back around and we'll fly the Zulu approach. So what is this? This is Yankee. Cool. So ILS Yankee 08 on the January 5 arrival in the cream transition. Approach via maybe Tokes. Is Tokes on here? Yeah. We'll do Tokes for now. Insert. Cool. Alright, from flight, after flight plan, we're going to go secondary flight plan. Copy the active. We'll do engine out at Hurley. Perfect. Rad nav. Let's do loss. From there, let's go to the init V page. And we're looking at a 0 fuel weight planned of 136.4. We'll put the standard CG of 30 in there for the time being until we get our actual numbers, because this is just planned. Taxi fuel looking at 0.5. No route reserve. That is flag fuel policy only. Reserve fuel looking at 3.1. And then alternate fuel, we are carrying Vegas as our alternate. May not be the best, but it's probably better than what we would see on the SoCal coastline. Everything over there kind of fogs in typically, or whatever issues that they're having. Like if Burbank's having issues, then Vegas or LA's probably going to have issues. San Diego will definitely have issues. So Vegas is usually the best bet. Alternate fuel, we are looking at 3.2. And on the block fuel, looking at 14.7. Now it's from a dispatch and like real life flying perspective, it's all good and all to have a distant alternate that's mostly solid as far as like a reliable alternate. But the other thing to take consideration is the runway is possibly wet, because we've got some sort of obscuration if we have 2.5 miles. In fact, looking back at the METAR, yeah, we got rain. Oh, we have a wet runway. In fact, real life, I don't think we can land in Burbank on a wet runway. We're going to for the sim, but in real life, we probably would not legally be able to. Actually, may not be a legality. It's just like a policy that we wouldn't be able to land in Burbank on a wet runway because it's so short. So that would be an issue. I could pull up my EFB and look at the airport briefing and see. We'll figure that out once we get airborne. Let's see, that's set. After that is just our perf numbers. All that is fine. Have our fuel yet? We do, so let's go APU fire test. Sweet. We'll go ahead and do engine 1 and 2 while we're at it. Perfect. And number 2. Cool. We'll leave the APU off for now. Turn seatbelt sign on, and the fuel pumps can come on since we're done fueling. And we'll get our screens to our desired brightness. Whoa, that happened fast. Turn terrain on, we'll need that on this climb out. Sweet. Alright, so the altimeter setting 2967. Damn. Alright, top altitude on our departure on the radar is 19,000 feet. Set, get those constraints turned on. Perfect. So we're at in this boarding process. Forgot that was there. Sorry guys. 91 out of 155. Was running this on live. I'll tell you what, we're going to reset this. Load aircraft. And it's going to give this error message because we changed our time. And we'll go ahead and load up instantly. Get ready to get out of here. And then once we get the flap open and the APU starts, we'll run a 3-minute timer for APU warm up before we can do turn on the bleed. So it's firing up. MCDU software. Bam. Okay. And it's not gonna work. Shit. This thing don't want to work at all. For those of y'all who might be new to the channel, I do have a physical MCDU next to me. And it's mostly a piece of shit. Mainly the software. Actually, it could even be a Phoenix problem. Whatever. Alright, MCDU, Etsu, AOC menu, receive messages. Let's get that load sheet. And load sheet 0 fuel weight, actual 0 fuel weight is 139.6, which is, Jesus, 3,000 pounds heavier than planned, so that's not great since we're landing on a wet short runway. And then our actual CG is 30.4. Good there. I am going to run for our numbers up here. So I have to keep looking back and forth, changing our screen. Off one right, it's wet. Flaps leave at optimum. Toga, let's do it. Packs on. Oh, that looks good to me. Flaps 1. Let's go flaps 2. Cool. So it's going to be flaps 2 down 0.2. Flexing, no flex. Transition altitude 18,000. That's in there. Acceleration climb altitude is 3170. And we'll do it on the other side as well. Thrust reduction, acceleration, climb, altitude, perfect. V speeds 18, 41, and 41. Forgot to run that timer. But by the time we get done doing our mini brief, or our departure brief, it'll be 3 minutes anyways. Except that, boom, that's done. Cool. Ground services, pull all this shit. Alright, so let's see if I can remember. Actually, I don't need to because I've got my shit right here. The question is, did my texture stick? Bam, it did. So I do not need that checklist. Alright, so for the departure brief, aircraft type is a 320 for tail strike avoidance. It's going to be a right seat takeoff. There's no MELs or CDLs. It's going to be a 2-engine taxi due to the wet runway wet taxiways rather. Takeoff runway is going to be runway 10 right. Terrain is a factor. We'll have high terrain all around us, so we've got the terrain on the nav display. We've also got weather as a factor, dropping some heavy rain on us. As far as hot spots and runways to cross, we will have. Damn it! I keep forgetting to take this off for y'all. It's my bad. No runway. Actually, we're going to have runway 8 left to cross. No hot spots. If we need to abort before V1, it'd be my decision to reject the takeoff. We'll complete stop, set the parking brake, call the flight test their station, analyze the situation, call for any income actions, emergency evacuation checklist as required. After V1, we're going to go hold at Hillary. I guess that's what that is. We'll go hold at Hillary. We'll speed up, clean up, engine out is 3170, and we will be this one still makes sense. Showing we're at max takeoff and at max landing weight as planned, and if we're 3,000 pounds heavier on the zero fuel weight, that means we're over max takeoff weight and over max landing weight. Whatever, we'll go with it. Anyways, if we need to come back, we'll be over max landing weight. Landing runway would be probably 26 or 26 left. If all goes as planned, we're going to find the Raider 2 departure, top altitude is 9,000 feet, and we're squawking 2,000. Before takeoff checklist. Before takeoff checklist, maintenance log details onboard and checked. Cover preps complete. Gear pins covers are removed. Signs are on auto. ADIRS. Nav. Fuel. Min fuel is 13.3. We've got 14.7 on board. Altimeters 2967 set. EFB is checked. Before takeoff to the line is complete. The beacon light on. Call up the ground crews. We're ready to push. And let's shut this door. As soon as I start looking towards the strip, frames just die.
to push back.
Sure, taking your time. Sorry, I'll have to tap out. Can't spend the night on the couch. For the sake of domestic tranquility, I have to shut it down. I'll catch you on the next one. Alright, VRCM, sounds good, man. Don't blame me there. Don't get hurt. I totally feel that. Man, I've been missing a whole bunch of shit in the chat. Oops. Cookie and milk check. In seat and ready for stream. I'm hungry. Me too. Cookies! Okay, this intro is sweet. Oh, thanks, Shaq. I recently made it. Just took a bunch of footage from past recordings that I've randomly made and put them together. Turned out pretty good. If you can't tell me how you did it, I'll give you... Oh, if you can tell me how you did it, I'll give you half a cookie. Yeah, it's called DaVinci Code, or I don't know, it's like some video editing software. I do not know what direction I want it to face. There we go. Let's go nose right. DaVinci Resolve. It is free video editing software, and it is damn good. It's quite a high learning curve, but once you learn it, like, I'm sure I've only scratched the surface of what I've learned. Shut up, lady. Do what I want.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Promise we'll get better frame rates when we get airborne. God, the frames are terrible in Vegas. Start the block. And we will roll one. Got good PSI on engine start valve. Cleared roll number one. It also doesn't help that I'm streaming in 1440. I thought about turning it down for this stream just because we're in Vegas. Possibly bigger half. 3-year-old always dances around and says, "Blake, gonna fly airplane." That's awesome. I don't know where these guys are pushing me to. They did this on the last flight in the CRJ earlier today. It's just like whipping that thing around. Passed out right now. Yeah, where the... Like, push me into the other gate.
On 50 ground, we have a good engine start to disconnect.
Alright, we got a good start on one. And let's roll two. I gotta relearn Navigraph all over again. Yeah, you'll learn it quick. I was, it took me a little bit of tinkering around earlier today, but the cool thing is, if you have the sync with current flight selected, as you pass through different phases of flight, it'll get rid of those charts for you, which is pretty cool. Ugh.
Tow truck disconnected.
VR side out from
removed.
this. That's funny.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Alright, thank you, man. And it never fails, they always walk out to the wrong side of the airplane. Alright, good start on 2. After start flow. Alright, after start checklist. Engine anti-ice is off. Yellow trumpet is off. And rotor trim is 0. Jay, can you send me an updated METAR, please? If it's even changed. If not, don't worry about it. I just want to make sure that we're not in icy conditions, because it was a little close at that 12 degrees. Cool. Alright, guys. Let's head to Burbank. Let's go smash this thing on the ground. Alright, brakes are released. And again, we are not flying on BATSIM. Just because I want to be able to do what I want to do. Take off the runways I want to take off of, all that good stuff. Let's go do this. Alright, brake check. Pressure 0. Frames are just driving me up. It's not as bad when I'm not streaming. Streaming, it's pretty bad. Like right now I want to look left and look right, make sure there's no traffic, even though I know there won't be because we're not on BATSIM. But I can't do it because it'll be so damn stuttering. What did your lady say when you got all them sim toys? I could just see the eyes looking through my soul. Well, her eyes looked through the back of her head, but she knows very well that I am the breadwinner between us. I make about 3 or 4 times more than she does, so, and I help her pay some of her bills, help her pay for some of her groceries and stuff like that. So she knows that she doesn't really have much of a say-so. If she wants me to keep helping her with stuff, then, you know, it's my money. I'm gonna do what the hell I want. And she knows not to fuck with me when it comes to flight sim stuff. That's a hard line. Unable to reach Navigraph server. I get this a lot too, Shaq. I know you were having issues with it. Like the chart's logging you out. I've been getting this a lot too. Like SimLink's not working. Alright, let's go. Mini brief. Departing off runway 1 right, gross weight's 154.0. Flaps config 2, fuel 14.5, V1's 118, V2's 141, top altitude's 19,000 feet, 19,000's blue. First fix is Bessie, flight control, or mini brief is complete. Don't really know where I'm going right now because, oh, there we go. Now SimLink is working. Let's cut it hard. Just about past that turn. And that's what I didn't want to do, was look at the strip. That's what kills the frames. Alright, mini brief is complete, so now we can roll through our flight controls check. Full up. Full down. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Full left, my god. Full right. Neutral. Flight controls checks complete. Before takeoff low. Oop, wrong button. Alright, before takeoff checklist to the line. Gross weight comparisons, complete pitch trim is 30.4% CG set V1 BRV2 flex. Looking at 118, 141, 141 no flex. Flaps config 2. Flight instruments checked. Flight controls are checked. ECMO takeoff all green. ECM stats checked. Predicted wind shear is on auto. TCAS code set TRA. Chemicals advised. Mini briefs complete. I'd be shipped back with the stuff. Yeah, Vegas does. It sucks the absolute hell out of the frame rates. That weather looks, it looks really cool with the way the sun's playing in the clouds with the shittier weather off to the north. I like it. And of course, we're going to take off the one, so we're going to be facing right out the strip. So Shaq, earlier when I was asking you if you had FSU IPC7, the paid version, I was asking because you can actually bind any click spot inside the cockpit to a button or an axis, switch, whatever. I know you got the Honeycomb yoke, which has a bunch of switches on it. So it's something I thought about. I've bound to my Bravo throttle. I've bound the fuel cutoff levers, as well as like dome light and a few just like quality of life things that you hit often enough that you'd have to change your view. But if you can just bound them to something, then you can just hit them quick and not have to change your view. So if that's something that interests you, I would definitely look into FSU IPC7. You can make certain profiles for certain airplanes. I use it to make everything work with this how it needs to or how I want it to, because not all airplanes are like programmed the same as far as commands and stuff for buttons and switches. Alright, hold short and before takeoff below the line. Takeoff runway 1 left, correction 1 right, and it's confirmed by the paint and the signs on the ground. Fuel is 13.3, and we've got 14.4 on board. Blade packs are set, APU is off after takeoff checklist. Alright, with it raining and the shitty weather we're about to fly through, I'll turn on ignition. No traffic on the approach, obviously because we're not on VATSIM. And we're about to crank and bank out this sucker. As you make the turn, look out the left and watch the fountains in the hotel. It looks amazing. We'll try. The weather looks not so great over that way. It definitely looks better than it did when we first got on. My God. I knew I should have went 1080 on this stream. That's the other thing too, is it's going to be so stuttery when we look that direction. Alright. Let's see what these new sounds are like. Man. What's the that's right. We're in Toga. Man, Toga, SRS runway off Thrust Blue. Forgot that fast. 8 knots. And neutral by 100. Fucking winds. There's V1. And rotate. God. And we got positive rate gear up. Frames so bad I can't even read the damn button push. Where them fountains at though? That circus, I've stayed there quite a few times. Acceleration, altitude, positive trim, airspeed, thrust climb. I forgot all about my lights. Dude, this is terrible. Flaps 1, speed checks, flaps 1. And flaps up, speed, or flap 0, speed checks, flap 0. Autopilot 1. After takeoff checklist, landing gears up, flaps retracted, bleed packs are set. After takeoff checklist is complete. Man, we can't get out of Vegas fast enough. Unless maybe the new update is just shit on performance, which is very possible. Still not in ice conditions just yet. Alright, TAT and SAT below 10. So engine 1 and 2 anti-ice on. 10,000. Slowly starting to get some frames back. Burbank's always been a little rough on the frames too, so we'll see how that goes. Oh yeah, the guy in the chat said to go to like the back view and see what how that sounds. So far I'm not really noticing much different. better to me. Not much different anyways. When a plane gets delivered, how long does it take before it goes into revenue service? Roughly a week. It comes over with no seats. I don't know if it comes with overhead bins or not. So yeah, they have some installations to make, some retrofitting to do, some general inspections, stuff like that. It has to go through customs, be cleared through customs and whatnot. There's a whole process, but it's roughly like 5 to 7 days. See what my Phoenix app settings are looking like. Make sure it didn't change nothing. Let's try CPU. On the way, finally. That was painful. I'm sure it's got something to do with like Airbus. You know, they just build the airplane, right? Like they're just going to do the airplane. When it comes to interior, like I guess if all the airlines around the world was going to have Airbus install their interior, then there would be even more of a logistical issue. So I guess we have all the interior stuff sent to our maintenance hangar in Detroit, and they install it there. So that's one of the parts of my process when processing a delivery flight, is I have to send an email off to our performance and engineering department to ensure that they set the profile inside of our software to have a basic operating weight that includes no seats. Because if they were going to have the seats, then obviously real airplane doesn't have the seats in the cabin, but in the system or the software it does. It's going to cause some props. Alright, let's go standard. And let's crank her on up to 280. And as you can see, we'll barely be in our cruising altitude for very long. First climb, open climb. Man, imagine doing like an A380, like 900 rows of seats. Yeah, no joke. I wouldn't want that job. No thanks. The seatbelt sign off. So frame rates are starting to... These frame rates look actually really good. I changed it from GPU to CPU in the Phoenix apps. I'm curious to see if that really makes any big difference or not. Calling sick. Shoot, you could just go hide somewhere on that airplane. Nobody ever be able to find you. It's so daggone big. That's what she said. Alright, so to be on the safe side, we should probably go ahead and start setting up for the approach. Just get everything kind of pre-ready, because it's going to be real soon before we're like, oh shit, we're coming down. So, not diff trip, but hat flow, flight plan, radar, fix info, and we're going to put in Burbank 08. And then we're going to do a 5-mile ring around them. Actually, that's wrong. This and this. And then our last fix on the approach. It just signed me out. I'm sure it's a bug. I'm sure they'll get it fixed, but damn is it annoying. Alright, let's see. So, oh man, and it just kicked out all of my plates that I had pinned. Bastard. Alright, Burbank, Jamie 5, approach, ILS, Zulu, and Yankee, taxi. Cool. Alright, so for the first procedure we're going to do is going to be the ILS Yankee. Man, and now these charts are like damn near unresponsive. Thinking, I wonder if changing it to CPU had an effect on everything else. So I'll flicker. Alright. Okay, so anyways, let's see, the last fix is Buddy. Drop that in there. And then 259 degrees to get our center line. Cool. So flight plan's done. Rad nav. We'll clear out Vegas. And we're going to put in Burbank 08. I'm thinking a prog page. Losing my mind. Bam. Prog's done. Perf. Let's see. Let's get our current weather. Alright, okay. Weather's gotten a lot better, viz-wise. Winds are 120 at 5. Temperature, looking at 11. Nope, that's 1. And then altimeter, 2988. Minimums for this approach, 828 feet. What are you talking about? 828. Radio. This is too big. So that'd be 1555 barrow. And then 2.5 miles viz. So the current weather right now, winds are 120 at 5, 6 statute miles, light rain, mist, few at 300, broken at 3,000. Overcast 36, temperature 11.9, altimeter 2998 or 2988. So with viz controlling, we can shoot the approach, but if that few at 300 were to turn into broken or overcast at 300, then we might have some issues. Go around and we can just set up on the ILS Zulu runway 8. Fuel prediction, estimated land with 10.0 gives us, 3 hours and 7 minutes of extra gas. That's not what I planned at all. I planned what did this thing do? Debrief acting weird. I did 20 minutes of dispatch ad with 10 minutes below the line, and yet it's thrown on all sorts of weird shit. What's that showing me now? Extra. What is this? CF fuel. It's not giving me my dispatch add fuel because it thinks that we're overweight by doing that. Which technically we probably are. So it gives us 50 minutes of extra gas, plus 3.2 burn to our alternative Vegas. Secondary flight plan, we're going to delete the secondary, copy active, Burbank 08, and we're going to put in the ILS Zulu as our backup so we can quickly activate it if we need to. And we'll do tokes on this one as well. Ow. That is selected. What the hell's going on with our cabin pressure? Alright, let's go down. Bottom altitude on the Jenny 5, 6,000 feet. And we couldn't even finish doing our approach shit before we were already coming down. Alright, so let's brief it up real quick. This. Alright, so we're coming down on the Jenny 5, we're going to meet all these constraints, yada yada yada. Cool, ILS Yankee, this is where things get interesting. So the ILS frequency is 109.5, final approach course is 79 degrees. Final approach fix is Buddy, 2,026 feet off the ground. Decision height is 828. Touchdowns on elevation is 727. We have a standard 3-degree glide slope, approach lights, Pappy on the left. If we need to go miss, we'll go 1800, then a climbing right turn of 4600 on a 210 heading. We need 828 foot ceilings and 2.5 mile visibility to shoot this approach. The ceilings could give us an issue. If they do, we'll go missed, and we'll switch it around to the ILS Zulu. For the Zulu, same thing. Frequency is 109.5, final approach course is 79 degrees. Buddy at 2,026 off the ground. Decision height is 348. So again, if that 300 foot, if that few at 300 turns into a solid layer, then we're going to have issues. 348 foot ceilings, or decision height rather. Touchdowns on elevation 727. 30-degree glide slope, approach lights, Pappy on the left. If we go miss, 1346. And climbing right turn on a 210 heading. We need 348 foot feet on the ceilings and 1 mile visibility for that one. If we can't get that, then we're pretty much screwed. Now, so this is what irritates me, because I can't see my other charts at the bottom. Done with that. Alright, let's see. Gate info, or airport info, which is not what I want. I actually want to go over another one. Here, runway 8. We have high intensity runway lights, approach lights, Pappy on the left. 3-degree glide slope or glide path on the Pappy. It's grooved. RVR's recording. We got 4,575 feet from the glide slope. It's 150 feet wide. Once we land, it's going to be a right-hand turnoff. We have the terminal right there. We'll be parking down around this area. So we have these hot spots to pay attention to as well. It's going to be my landing from the right seat. Because it's such a short runway, we're going to go auto brake medium. on the ILS push buttons for this ILS. And if y'all have any questions, throw them my way. Otherwise, we'll consider it briefed. It's crazy. So this ETP is the halfway mark of the flight, and we're literally on the descent as we cross the halfway mark of the flight. That's stupid. Alright, let's see if I can find the airport briefing in my EFB. Damn chair just shocked the hell out of me. Because I want to know if we can... Oh man, I forgot we moved everything to a different app now. Maybe the old one still works. Sign in once and you have to sign in again. Stupid. Jay, what do y'all use for your read files and manuals and stuff? Do y'all use Comply 365 or what? So I literally have to log in twice and then do a two-way authenticator. It's annoying. Stay signed in, yes. So we're at the bottom of the speed tape, and typical characteristic of an Airbus is to be at the top end of that speed tape. This was a previous issue, and I wonder if that issue is back. 365. So Jay, we just moved to a new app called Content. I don't know how I feel about it. Oh, here's the OCM. Let's see. Airport briefings. Burbank. Burbank Airport briefing. Due to the geographical elements and nearby structures, wind shear is common on approach and departure. Exercise extreme caution at all times. High terrain all quadrants. Use of terrain on ND is mandatory. If it is necessary to monitor both radar and terrain, the pilot flying should display radar. Terrain on the ND off, and the pilot monitoring should have terrain on. High minimum en route altitude and grid mora all quadrants. Expected journey arrival. Direct journey may be given and they descend via clearance from there on. The bottom of the arrival is at Wabbit at 6,000 feet, which is actually what we're going to right now. The airport often experiences low visibility due to fog, haze, and pollution from Southern California. When vis is low, expect the ILS Zulu runway 8. Note higher than usual minimums, 348 above touchdown zone, which is what we just briefed. According to note 4, the localizer is unusable within 0.9 nautical miles from the threshold. This is due to possible interference. The ILS Yankee runway 08 is available for aircraft that cannot comply with the missed approach climb gradient of the ILS Zulu runway 8. That's why they got two separate procedures. That's cool. Lots of TCAS RAs possible. Lots of different aircraft types. So this is what the approach looks like in real life, if I'll be able to show, for runway 8. It's included in the airport briefing. Alright, let's see. The only authorized approaches to runway 15 or 33 are the RNAV visual approaches selected from the nav database. Runway 26 is aligned too closely to terrain in order for a safe visual approach. Ensure engine failure missed approach procedures are briefed and loaded into the FMS. There are several important items, blah blah. Runway 826 has a total length of 5,800 feet, but a careful review of the 10-9A page indicates that the usable length from landing or beyond glide slope is 4575, which is what we just briefed. Review the FOM policies concerning operations on runways with less than 6,000 feet of usable length. Some highlights include captain-only landing, flaps config full, max reverse, auto brake medium if available. If auto brakes are unavailable, manual braking is permissible, plus 5 knots of tailwind only. Typically we can go to 10 on a tailwind, but we can only do 5 in this airport. It is imperative to conduct thorough and accurate landing distance assessment with only 4,575 feet of usable runway. A stable approach should set up a limited flare landing. Departure end of runway 8 has a large area of EMAS. Historically, there have been several runway overruns. That's fun. This is all taxi stuff. If departing Toga and Flaps 3, beware of flap over speed with local wind patterns and low-level wind shear advisories. All runways have a terrain threat due to rapidly rising terrain in all directions. Huh. Okay. So I didn't see Burbank approaches. Shows one. I swore it said you can't land here if it's wet. I guess we can. I mean, it is grooved. Captain only, flaps config full, max reverse, auto brake medium, plus 5 knots tailwind. Alright. Guess we're good. I feel like we've been flying at this slightly lower altitude for a hot minute. Alright, so once we reach Wabbit, we can go to Tokes, which is a bit of an acute angle turn. I'm not too fond of that, but if anything, we can widen it out. Sweet. Captain Geo, what is up? Sorry, I've not paid much attention to the chat at all. I really wanted to find out if we could land on a wet runway in Burbank or not, because I swore the airport brief said you couldn't, but can. I may have been mistaking that with the 5-knot tailwind. Hey, good point, Jeff. First of all, Cabana, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming to hang out. Spirit 380 would have 800 seats. Everybody, please give a congratulations to Jeff Cabana, as he will be pursuing his dispatch career at Delta. His last day at my company was not too long ago, and I almost wanted to cry. It's one of the good ones. But anyways, fuck that guy. Anyways, Jeff makes a good point. I can't land in Burbank because I'm not flying from this seat. So, should we mix it up a bit here on the wrong side and fly from the right side? That'd be kind of weird at this point. Haven't done that in a long time, flying from the left seat. Yeah, I don't care. 574 minute delay. That sounds like Spirit. Shane, what's up, dude? And everybody, Shane is one of our shift coordinators. Handles the logistics of the airline, keeps the airline moving smoothly as best as he can. Bullshit that's going on in the operation. But again, guys, my apologies for not paying a whole lot of attention to the chat. Was reading up on the Burbank approach brief or airport brief. I've been having a problem where the approach speed won't set even if I go flaps 40. I'd like to see what it does with you. So Fred, if you're thinking flaps 40, you're probably thinking 737, because in the Airbus world we only have 4 notches of flaps. Actually, I guess 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I don't know exactly what degrees of like extension that the flaps are at, but for the Airbus it's flaps 0 through 4. So assuming that you're talking the 7.3, you have to make sure you go into the FMS and go to the init page and copy the flaps 40 speed and put it into the VREF box. I think it's the R5 or R6 button of the FMS, and make any wind corrections that you need to as well. So you can copy it, delete a couple digits, and then type in the corrected. Put that in there, and then once you're on the approach, the airplane should kick off into like a selected speed, where you'll see the speed selected on the autopilot panel, and you just dial the speed down to what speed you want, whatever your VREF is. So now if your VREF is like 152 knots, select that at 152 knots, and then the airplane will maintain that. I personally disconnect the auto throttle while I'm on the approach, at least on short final, because I've found that the airplane will still try to maintain that VREF while you're like trying to touch down, and if that happens, the engines will spoil up and you'll float forever. In real life, the way they overcome this is they physically take the throttle levers to idle, even though the auto thrust is engaged, and the airplane will still react to their inputs. And now let's say like they bring it to idle and they never touch down, and they let go of the throttles, like they don't hold them there, then the throttles will try to spoil back up to maintain VREF. But it's hard to do that. You can't really do that in the flight sim, so I disconnect auto throttle myself and just hand fly the VREF. Okay, flaps 4, gotcha. Okay, well yeah, we'll definitely run through that together. Shane just thumbs down. Yes, right seat landing. All right, we'll stay in the right seat. But Jeff, we are going to miss you, man. I'm sure Shane will miss you. Jeff was one of our DSCs as well before deciding to bail the punch button. Alright, let's see. Current weather in Burbank. It's the same shit. 2989. I really hope the frame rates are a lot better on landing than it was takeoff. Oops. Come on, thing. Alright. Let's go. Seatbelt sign on. Status page check. It's normal. Alright. Approach checklist. Briefing is complete. Approach stable by 1,800 feet. ECAM status is checked. Seatbelt signs are on. Minimums 1555 set. Engine NIS 1 and 2 are currently off, and altimeters 2989 sets. Approach checklist is complete. SAT is -12. So once we get down to this layer down here, we'll turn on that engine NIS. Good riddance. Shane will miss me for sure. That's too funny. So I hope everybody can kind of get a feel of what our work environment is like. We're at our company. We're all pretty good friends. We all get along pretty well. Every now and then you might get somebody that doesn't really fit into the mix super well, but if they're a great dispatcher, then maybe hang on to them. But if they just overall like giving terrible turnovers and shit personality, then it may not be a good fit. For now, Shane. Oh, too funny. Alright, so Fred. First things first, and just to troubleshoot and make sure we've covered the basics. Are you making sure that you set up your approach page? You want to make sure you put in your altimeter, temperature, wind, and your minimums. Typically, on an ILS, you would use the radio altimeter, unless you're in terrain like we're descending into now. The radio altimeter may be a little get erroneous readings, so you wouldn't use the radio, you would use the baro. If you're in a flat area on an ILS, and you can use radio all day long. Here, the radio altimeter minimums are just too high. MCDU won't accept it, so we're doing the baro, which we're also in mountainous terrain, so it makes more sense to do baro anyways. Blake is this one of our CEOs or 319? It's a 320 CO. Tail 697. One of the former Wow birds, or yeah, Wow birds. So this one has the brake fans, which is nice because we're probably going to need them once we land in Burbank. See how good this looks when we break out of this stuff. Minus Shane. Oh, you guys. Definitely not a Neo. I do have a Neo. But it's not, since y'all aren't simmers, y'all don't know this. Everybody else in here who are simmers will know. But the Neo is not nearly as in depth on the system as this one is. So when we get closer to landing, we will be turning on our secondary camera, so we'll be able to see the center pedestal, and then also a little side stick action. With that said, let's get our pilot seat all set right. Keep that sucker back. Yeah, keep that backrest up. Oh yeah, boy. Getting that Maverick fight position. And I do have a MCDU on this side, which is still not really working. Well, it would make sense. No, because this is still running. And check for another download because this thing's a piece of shit. Alright, we're at 11.5. Training is on the ND. I'll leave the engine NIS on for now. If we need to fly an extended downwind, we can, just to get parallel to Tokes and then make our turn, depending on the terrain. But we shall see. How automated is your software? How much manual input is needed? They'll probably just tell you it's shit. For the most part, I would agree. It's very automated compared to Dispatch Manager, at least. Not dispatch. Why did I say Dispatch Manager? What's it called? Flight Plan Manager. FPM. It's a lot more automated, at least than what the FPM or the DM. I think that's what they call it, right? Shane and Jeff, did y'all ever use? I think it's DM. That's the other version from Sabre. But anyways, it's a lot more automated, but with the automation comes a lot of quirks. So unless you really know its quirks and know the logic of the software, it's a huge pain in the ass. At 3 hours, it'll roll through, make an initial calculation, do what it thinks it needs to do. It doesn't add any extra gas, just solely like choosing the runways, what route it thinks is best, which is typically not great route. Like it'll pick some stupid shit because it's just trying to capture tailwinds. Is all it's trying to do. It just wants the tailwind, and it'll fly like it'll pick a route way out of the way to capture a tailwind. Yeah, DM. I said DM, then I thought Dispatch Manager, and I was like, wait a minute. So it kind of does its own little thing, and then you got to go back and like basically correct it. The only part of the automation that I really like is the fact that it can, for the most part, read NOTAMs, and it acts as like a safety net in the event that there's some sort of a runway closure, or if like an ILS is out, it can determine that the minimums are now higher, and if the weather is low, it will basically light it up bright red to get your attention, like, hey, this runway can't be used if you select it. But then you just go check the NOTAMs. 9 times out of 10, it's still totally fine to use. There are some weird NOTAMs that'll trip it up, like all the NOTAMs in Dallas for like these runways are closed for aircraft with wingspan greater than 214 feet. That will trip it up every time. The system will read that as a closed runway, even though it's not. And then you just go check the NOTAMs, confirm it's good, and then use that runway that you want. So it's automated, but it's a little slow because of the automation, because then you have to run multiple calculations, and it's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's better than a whiz wheel. We'll go with that. This whole time it's been at the bottom of this speed window. I hope that little bug's not back. Thought they fixed that. Yep, none of that. We have to check all our stuff. Yeah, that sounds like the DM I used at Train States. I've heard that there is an automated version of DM that will check NOTAMs and stuff like that, but it's a lot faster to use than FPM. Still -5 on the SAT. Alright, let's kick out Tokes. And we'll get rid of the discon, let the aircraft start calculating a good vertical path. Make sure it looks good. Looks good to me. Make sure our missed approach is in there. 1800. Intercept 210. 46. Cool. Rather dim our screens a bit as we get down in these clouds. Get real bright. I notice there's a lot of simmers that like they just run their screens on max brightness and never touch them. It drives me nuts. Nice slow approach, shit. Are you gonna file an ASAP from the gate? I can. What if I actually filed a real ASAP? And like I was talking about flying an airplane, but like the ASAP review committee would be like, hang on a minute, this guy is a dispatcher. What's he talking about? Landing in Burbank from the right seat. Shaq, yeah, I have noticed. I've noticed you'll do that sometimes. Yep. It'll be like completely dark outside and monitors are like wham, straight bright. Let's see, weather in Burbank. Winds are 100 at 6, 10 statute miles, light rain, broken at 3,800, overcast 4,700. Temperature's 10, dew point 9, altimeter's 2989. So that little low layer of few at whatever, few at 300 is now gone, which is good, because that was probably our biggest threat. So even though we're on the more restrictive ILS, we shouldn't have a problem. A beautiful rain shower we're about to fly through. Turn the ignition on. Sure hope we don't hit that mountain. And now it wants to speed up. It's no longer in a speed window. Now it's just 250. So here is, this is going to be a little tricky. So we're crossing Wabbit at 6,000 feet now. We need to be at or above 3,700 here. So my concern is terrain. Let's go select the speed. Dial it down. We'll go, we'll say 200 for now. Actually, we'll go 190. Why is the airplane not descending? Oh, that's why. Duh. Jesus Christ. Go down. And flaps 1, speed checks, flaps 1. Shane, what's up, dude? I appreciate you for subscribing. My man, number 505. This alarm is way too long. Let's dump it to 180. Get caught back up on this. There we go. We are caught back up. Go back into manage climb. Damn it, man! This airplane's moving around so much.
2,500.
Click what I need to click. We'll stow them and that secondary camera up. And we'll go flaps 2, speed checks, flaps 2. Still in icing conditions. Not looking bad. The approach, the Burbank takes forever. It's more so just the airplane staying at the frickin' bottom of the speed window. Should have been flying like another 40 knots faster this whole time. Alright, let's arm the approach. Got Loke Star. And let's try to record this one, shall we? If I remember where I'm. They just updated it to. I knew I should have updated it today. Need some water. All I have is old hot beer sitting next to me from earlier today. Alright, so let's drop it down to 170 on the speed. Actually, that's not. We're still a little ways out. About 13 miles out. And we'll arm autopilot number 2. Come join the fam. Yeah, go to American Shane. JetBlue for life. You won't be saying that next year. Who knows? MD Shoip. I don't know how you say that. My apologies if I'm butchering your name. But hello, well, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming, hanging out with us on this late night sneaky, snuck out of bed stream. This approach is 4,600. We're still on the glide slope, so we can't change that yet.
2,500.
Now we go to 170. Alright, Fred, so if you're still watching, keep an eye on what I do. I'll explain it as I run through it. Glide slope star. So now we can change this, and it'll keep on flying the glide slope and it won't stop. Alright, this approach altitude is set. Alrighty, we are out of icing conditions. So we've been cleared to land. So, Fred, when you're on approach, you will, when you're making your initial approach, you'll need to be in selected speed so that you can slow the airplane down. Otherwise, it's going to try to stay at 250 knots. Once you get to where you're ready to configure to land, what we're going to do is we're going to come down to the MCDU and ensure that approach phase has been confirmed. Pilots call it approach or activate and confirm. So you activate it, confirm it. It's already been done because we're so close. Typically that's what happens to me. And then when we're ready to configure, so we'll configure now, we're going to go manage speed, gear down, arm spoilers, and flaps 3. Oh shit, I left my camera in Vegas. Oh, and now we can't see the runway. Oh wait, because everything's got to load back. If we need to go around because of the scenery, we will.
1,000.
Looking for V&E plus 10, so this is V&E, the little amber bars. Plus 10, we can go flaps full.
100 above.
Flaps full. Landing checklist. Cabin crew advised. Auto thrust speed. Auto brakes low or medium. ECMMO landing all green. Alrighty, let's see what we can do. We're not looking to butter this one. Basically, gonna be landing on aircraft carriers, kind of what we can expect.
400.
First time landing since the update too, so hopefully they haven't changed the flight characteristics much.
300. 200. 100.
Light slope.
40. 30. 20. Retard. 5,
Come on, airplane. Jesus. That fucking thing. Go around flaps, gear up. We're gonna do that again. I don't know what that. I don't know if that's got to do with the new update or what. But I did not like that much. Acceleration, climb altitude, thrust climb, open climb, flaps 2, disarm, and let's go full heading, autopilot, and we'll go nav. Flaps 1 and flap 0, speed checks flaps 0, after takeoff checklist, landing gears up, flaps try to complete packs are set, if you use off, after takeoff checklist is complete. Nav. Alright, let's try it again. So I initiated the go around because I touched down too far outside of the touchdown zone, which is a mandatory there's like a mandatory zone that you have to touch down in Burbank, otherwise you go around. Speed alt star. Pretend like that didn't happen. So the warning was because I went toga. That is normal. I have footage from Sims in Burbank, like landing in Burbank, doing basically a touch and go because of that. And the same exact thing happened. Master alarm went off. It's very normal. Alright, so let's go heading mode. We'll just fly parallel. Fly like a 270 heading. Alright, let's get set back up. This time we'll go Isla Zulu. Cream insert, yep. Do all that. Silex out ahead of us. Cool. Take it back down to 36. Back to selected speed. Start with 210. Then go flaps 1. Speed checks flaps 1. this stuff don't look great. Alt star. Should be able to clear it. Fuck it, let's shorten this thing up. Let's go, buddy. Insert. Nav. Let's take it down to 2500. Perf. Let's go ahead. All right, so here's that activate and confirm what we're talking about. You want to, if you're going to do this, you want to make sure you're in selected speed. Otherwise, it will dump your speed if you're in managed. So activate and confirm. Then we want 384. Man, we were close to them mountains.
1,000.
So we're ignoring that. That's erroneous. That's because the radio altimeter, my God, is detecting those mountains. It's kind of like sonar. It's going to transmit a frequency.
Too low.
Why is
Terrain.
my gear never came up? Shack, yeah, it was I can't remember what the training was they were doing for those, like, touch and go. It wasn't like actual touch and go training. Something else. I can't remember if it was like wind shear or something. On the approach. This is gonna be a much more shallow approach, so we can get slowed down a little bit earlier. We're probably late, in all honesty. Lodestar. Gonna use this level flying to dump as much speed as we can. Class up star. Now we can go gear, actually. Manage speed, gear down. Arm spoilers, flaps 2. Beanie plus 10, flaps 3. Landing checklist. Cabin cruise advised. Auto thrust speed, auto brakes medium, and landing. EKMMO landing all green.
1,000.
Try it again. I babied it too much last time. My airplane. Can't see the runway, so no point in really looking outside. Got the runway in sight.
500. 100 above. 400. Minimum.
Continue.
300. 200.
Flight slope. Flight slope.
40, 30, 20, retard. 5,
70 knots. A little bit better that time. Frame rate suck here too. If I didn't make that one, we're about to divert to back to Vegas. Man, these frame rates suck. And I forgot to record the damn landing. Alright, so let's see. I'll tell you what, we'll debrief together. We'll look at. We'll land to when we get into the gate, and then kind of talk about what all went down. I did it again. I went back to the camera that's still sitting in Vegas. God, this is so bad. Well, we're going to be streaming again tomorrow. Spine intact. And honestly, I don't think I landed as hard as it looked. This FS Realistic, like that handles the camera shaking and stuff, it can kind of exaggerate. I adjusted it for the 7.3, but I haven't adjusted it for the Airbus yet. And usually I'll get GSX going and have like some marshallers and shit, but the frame rates are already so bad, I ain't gonna fuck with it. Like, my God. Probably a good idea to switch it back to 1080 streaming until we get that 4090. Alright, parking brake set. APU is available. And we'll shut them down. Alright, so I'm gonna get rid of this. And we're just gonna talk real quick. Like, the frame rates are driving me nuts. So just kill that off. Tomorrow we'll probably fly Airbus and a little bit of Mad Dog. And we'll debrief, and then I'll show a little bit of the simulator touch and go. Maybe. Alright, Shane, dude. I will talk to you soon on the shitty Avtex. But thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate your subscription, and have a good night's sleep. Talk to you soon, dude. All right, kill this. All right, so here was obviously our approach into Burbank. Okay, this was from loading the like when I switched to the camera in Vegas and then came back to Burbank, it was like loading. I've had issues with when the same thing happens, that like the airplane falls to the ground because literally the ground like goes away, it's not loaded because we just jumped over to Vegas. So ignore this. Now, I actually don't know which one is which. I'm assuming this was the go around because we landed a bit lighter than when we like actually stopped on the runway, and we're further down the runway. If you can see, we need to touch down between here and here. We're all the way out here. So I initiated the go around. On the actual landing, we touched down -433. That's pretty damn firm, and maybe slightly uncomfortable, but you know, it's definitely not like wrecking nothing. But you do what you got to do to get on the ground at a place like this. So let's see if I can get that footage pulled up. I think I went in 2020. Speaking of Shane, look at Shane. This was during a company Teams call for some recurrent training, and this is what Shane put as his background. All right, here's the sim. Now find which one is the go around. Should be one, I believe. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Pause this shit and restart this. Alright, so this was a training session. Let's see how short that runway is. Obviously a lot better weather. Now these windows do kind of like mess with the way that the sim looks from my point of view, so it actually looks not crazy from where they're sitting. But notice how when they go around, we get a master caution. So there you go. These are practice. That was, I don't know what the reason, like, I mean, ATC, the instructor played the role of ATC and had them go around. I don't know what the reason was for, but nonetheless, as you saw in the stream as well as on there, when you go around, once on the ground, you do get master cautions and alarms and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so initiated the go around, went toga, and obviously it's a super short runway, right? So immediately my mind went to, okay, engines are going to take a hot second to spoil up, which in the real airplane they don't take as, I don't think it take as long as what Phoenix is, because the airplane knows like on the ground and what is going on, and it knows to like pick up the speed on spooling those engines up. I think Phoenix has programmed this into the Phoenix, but it felt like forever for those engines to spoil up. I'm gonna have to go back on the replay and watch. So as like the microseconds were ticking by and I'm waiting for the engines to spoil up, I start getting distracted and looking at the eCam, looking to see if the engines are spoiling up for me or not. With that, I started getting a little, because I got a little distracted. When I saw I was coming off the center line, I overcorrected and I started veering around and shit. So then I started to use ailerons, trying to keep myself from like striking a wingtip. And then we were back off. I don't remember who the instructor was. Sorry. He was an older dude. Seemed like a pretty senior guy. Glasses. Pretty in shape for like a older dude. It's about the best I can do. So anyways, went in to go around flaps. I hit the little switch that I have bound for gear up, but the gear didn't come up. The switch is kind of weird. It's this little, like, you can't even say it. It's this little, the cockpit door lock and unlock switch. It like spins for some reason. So sometimes like when I hit it, it's like it doesn't read the switch. I think that's what happened. Obviously in real airplane you have an actual lever. So anyways, conducted the go around and then, you know, just made sure we stayed the hell away from terrain and then came back and did it again. So wasn't great. If I could have that one back, I'd take it back. But you know, it's Burbank. It was rainy, reduced visibility. We got on the ground safely. That's all we can really hope for. So, yep, tomorrow I am aiming to fly the Airbus again, as well as the MCDU. Oh my god, it's time to go to bed. The Mad Dog. If I only end up having time for one stream, so I'm not going into work until 7 p.m. tomorrow, thanks to this hurricane, then we'll just fly the Mad Dog. Don't really know what we're gonna fly. Would y'all prefer to see American MD-82 or Delta MD? I'll let y'all choose the carrier and then we'll go from there. But anyways, guys, I appreciate y'all so much for coming to hang out on this sneaky little sneak out of the bedroom stream, and it was a lot of fun. It was kind of cool, like, to brief the approach and then go read the airport briefing and kind of see how everything aligns together. Hopefully tomorrow we have smoother landings and less go-arounds. If we have to go around in the Mad Dog, we're screwed. So I don't know what to do in the Mad Dog other than like runway heading and do our best to do that. But nonetheless, guys, thank y'all so much for coming to hang out. Not sure what time I'm going to stream tomorrow, so make sure you hit the notification bell so that you know that I'm going live. And until then, hope y'all have a great night and keep it on the wrong side. See you later.